EastEnders spoiler. Elaine Knight's shocking mistake sparks tragedy and police probe. Is the Vic at risk? In a week packed with emotional upheaval, escalating tensions, and devastating consequences, EastEnders viewers have watched as Elaine Knight's unraveling reaches a harrowing climax. Her decision-making under stress has not only endangered children's lives, but may also have put the Queen Vic's entire future on the line. As Walford reels from recent dramas, Elaine, reeling from her painful split with George, found herself spiraling emotionally. The fallout from their breakup has left her vulnerable, volatile, and desperate to regain control over both her personal life and the pub. But in her attempt to prove she's still in charge, Elaine's impulsive actions have triggered a chain of events with potentially life-changing consequences. Trouble brewing at the Vic. This week, Elaine turned her attention to planning a birthday bash at the Vic for beloved local Patrick Truman. Determined to show the community, and herself, that she could still run a tight ship, Elaine threw herself into party preparations with manic energy. Yet while her intentions may have been noble, the execution left much to be desired. Against her daughter Linda's warnings, Elaine pushed ahead with the party, insisting it would be a night to remember. And it was, but for all the wrong reasons. From the outset, Yolanda was unimpressed with the tone of the event. What was meant to be a respectful celebration for Patrick quickly devolved into something rowdier, less refined, and dangerously unmonitored. But the real trouble began when George unexpectedly arrived at the pub. The sight of her former partner was like a match to dry tinder. Tensions flared as Elaine confronted George about his apparent desire to reclaim the money he had invested in the pub, a move that, to her, felt like a betrayal. Harsh words were exchanged, and Elaine's anger began to simmer visibly. Meanwhile, away from the adult drama unfolding in public, another, more sinister thread was quietly unraveling. Denzel's party takes a dark turn. While Elaine and George were clashing at the pub, teenager Denzel Danes had his own hands full. Tasked with watching over the younger kids at home, Raymond, Bert, and Ernie, Denzel thought he could sneak in some fun by inviting a few friends over. When Joel showed up uninvited, it seemed like a typical teen disruption. But Joel brought more than attitude, he brought recklessness. Suggesting that they liven things up with alcohol, he quickly persuaded Denzel to make the party a little more grown-up. The pair returned to the Vic where they found Elaine, now several drinks in and becoming increasingly erratic. With little resistance, they asked her for a glass of the boozy party punch. Elaine, eager to stay the fun, adult and not quite registering the consequences, agreed. But the teens didn't just sip on the drinks in the pub. They smuggled 2 full jugs of the potent punch back to Denzel's house. It would prove to be a catastrophic decision. A crisis unfolds. As the party at the Vic carried on, Elaine's grip on reality loosened. Her public behavior became increasingly unhinged, culminating in her interrupting Patrick's heartfelt birthday speech. In front of the stunned guests, she launched another tirade against George, airing their dirty laundry in a shocking display of bitterness and instability. But the scene shifted abruptly when Joel, perhaps feeling a pang of guilt, told Denise what had happened at Denzel's gathering. His revelation stunned her into immediate action. Denise rushed to the house, where she found a harrowing sight. Young Raymond, Bert, and Ernie had consumed an entire jug of the alcoholic punch. The children were visibly ill, and it was clear that this was no mild intoxication. This was a medical emergency. Panic set in. Denise dialed for an ambulance, trying to comfort the boys as sirens approached in the distance. Back at the pub, word of the incident reached Linda, and her reaction was fierce. Confronting her mother, Linda didn't hold back. She blamed Elaine's careless, self-indulgent behavior for the terrifying situation unfolding at home. The fact that Elaine had knowingly served alcohol to underage teens, whether intentionally or not, was unforgivable. Elaine, however, wasn't ready to shoulder the blame. The fallout. As the 2 women clashed behind the bar, long-held frustrations came pouring out. Linda accused Elaine of prioritizing her ego over responsibility. She admitted, through tears, that she had been struggling to manage the pub on her own and had hoped her mother would offer stability, not chaos. But Elaine, still defensive, pushed back. Her pride wouldn't allow her to see the situation clearly, and instead, she doubled down, insisting that she had done nothing wrong, that the real fault lay with Denzel and his friends. Unfortunately, the situation was already beyond family squabbles. The police arrive. Before Elaine could fully process the night's consequences, the police arrived at the Vic. Their visit was far from social. The officers informed Elaine and Linda that a formal investigation was underway. A report had been made about a minor being served alcohol on licensed premises. It wasn't just a slap on the wrist. This could lead to the Vic losing its license altogether. Elaine's face fell. The weight of her actions finally began to sink in as the implications hit home. Her decision to serve punch to the teens, coupled with her volatile behavior, had opened the door to legal scrutiny that could devastate the family business. The community's iconic pub, the heart of Albert Square, was now under threat, and all because of a moment of poor judgment. What happens next? With the children receiving urgent care at the hospital, Denzel facing serious questions, and the Vic under police investigation, Walford is on edge. Elaine is at the center of a storm that could destroy everything she holds dear. Will she finally take responsibility and try to make amends, or will her denial deepen the rift with Linda and the rest of the community? Can the Vic recover its reputation? And most urgently, will Raymond, Bert, and Ernie recover fully? Elaine Knight's fall from grace has been swift, sharp, and painful to watch. What began as an attempt to restore a sense of purpose after heartbreak has spiraled into a disaster with consequences that could ripple through Albert Square for weeks to come. One thing is certain, Walford will never be the same again.